Let's go, chant. His Street on 7th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. As you can see, all this crap, the voice of America speaking here. People are having the right to voice their opinion. This Donald Trump return 2025 is something that we're going to celebrate with, you know? Yes. Peace and love. What do you think the return of Donald Trump? Do you think he will do something? The voice of America speaking.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something. Do you think the return of Donald Trump will be better than the first time?
Much better. Donald Trump is what we need. No Kamala Harris. Trump over Kamala Harris.
One, man. Represent, man. How do you feel about this game out today?
Pretty good.
One love. Say, we are the winner. Yes, sir. People are feeling irate. Much love, man. Much love.
We're on the vlog? Wait, how do we find this?
Alright, he's gonna do something better than the first time.
Yes.
Amen. Do you think Donald Trump will do something better than the first one?
He needs to.
That's it, brother. That's one love. Give me one love. Give me time, man. Everybody put a smile on their faces. Do you think Donald Trump will do something better than the first one?
I'm not sure. I have my personal opinions and I don't know if you would agree. If you believe so, I will manifest it for you.
You gonna tiger vision. Peace. Yeah, okay? Yes. And that's what the people are saying here, man.
Oh my God, it's so great.
What's up, man? Come on, John, everything is nice, my brother. Tell me something. Do you think that Donald Trump will do something better than the first time?
Yeah.
What's up, America? Say peace. Forever and ever. It's all about the love and justice and freedom. Wherever you go. Bless it. Tell me something. Do you think Donald Trump will do something better at this time?
I hope so.
That's what we were happy for. All right. Run the house. Let the music play. I love that. Keep the spirit high, my brother. All right. Yes. The voice of America speaks. Solidarity with our president. Every time, Rastafari. Every time. Yes. All right. Solidarity for our police. Solidarity, the freedom, and the security is all we're fighting for the first time. Is make America great again. That's what I say here. How you doing, sir?
Wonderful.
God is love. We want America to be great. Is there anything wrong? But that's it. Make America great. Is there anything wrong?
Make America great.
God bless you, sir. God bless you. Hi, my little brother here is gonna be the future president. Alright. It's been lovely for ourselves. No matter what the situation is. Solidarity for the Africa, America. The America speaking word. Voice of America speaking. One heart, my brother. One heart. Stick with the iron. Where you come from? Willema, Africa. Still in and what do you think? No Yankee boy here. They have a pinky toe, but me never. Brother, man, hold up. On the solidarity for Africa, Caribbean, every time. Now we're here in America, we got to support America.
I will help.
Every time I bless it. Say Allahu Akbar. God is one. Every time we want our president to do good, right? Every time for our people. All right, and where the brother from?
Mauritania.
Oh my God, big up. One heart Africa, one here America. All right, my brother. God bless you. The movements of the people are talking here, man. You gotta voice out your point, man. The right can never be wrong. The right is always right, wherever you go. And that's how it is. Where I say, brother, man, much love, man, much love. And see you here with your family. A bigger. What do you think the new resolution for Donald Trump in the White House? Do you think he will do better? He will do better?
He will do much better.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Make America great again. Every time, man. No negativity. Because blood is always one. No black, no white, but red. And that's what we're talking about here. Tomorrow say. But say hi to America, posse. God bless you, sir. God bless you. Zaya in another vision. And I deal with my niceness. The atmosphere is cool here. People are feeling good with the kids, family, couples. Who want to fear? The wrong is wrong wherever you go, you know? And that's what we deal with, love and respect.
Crime in the District of Columbia fell considerably in 2024. Homicides were down 32%, and overall crime fell 15%. For the most part, the trend is continuing in the early part of 2025, with one major exception. Homicides are way up. So far this year, D.C. police have investigated 23 killings, compared to 15 at the same time last year, an increase of 53%. A recent example in the rise of homicides, on Monday afternoon near the escalators leading to the parking garage in Union Station, D.C. police say 18-year-old Wayne McDaniel was shot and killed.
We watched them on the video as they were talking to each other, walked into the station, the waiting area together. We saw the decedent take something off of the shooter's person.
That case remains unsolved. D.C. police released these images of the person they are looking for. One of those unsolved homicides took place right here in the 900 block of M Street Southeast, right across from the Washington Navy Yard. It was about 8:30 at night on January 30th when D.C. police say they found 36-year-old Nico Rector suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. This week, D.C. police released video of a person of interest in the case. While homicides are up, D.C. police say overall crime continues to drop. Sex abuse is down 70%. Assault with a dangerous weapon down 31%. Robbery down 29%. Overall violent crime down 29%. Overall property crime down 9%. And overall crime is down 12%. Back in December, Chief Smith told News 4, technology is helping to drive down crime.
We started to leverage technology like never before here in D.C., especially here at MPD. The mayor approved the increase of CCTV cameras across the city. We launched our real-time crime center that has been very, very instrumental in helping us solve crimes and getting BOLOs out very quickly.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says she has been briefed on the coming executive order. The Washington Post reports it will target graffiti, homeless encampments, and crime. In the district, Paul Wagner, News 4.
A federal drug trafficking investigation near the nation's capital has led to a house here in Cleveland. News Channel 5's Curtis Jackson joins us tonight with more on a shocking connection.
Danita, a cop in Silver Spring, Maryland, is behind bars. She allegedly used law enforcement databases to help her fiancé run his drug operation. Prosecutors say she also bought houses for him to run the operation, including at least one in Cleveland. No answer tonight at the Avalon Road house listed as being owned by Dolores Comer.
Muriel Bowser. I am the mayor of Washington, D.C. I am joined by our Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, and members of the Council of the District of Columbia. We are here on a beautiful day in our beautiful city, and our priority is to keep Washington, D.C. a beautiful world-class city. But unfortunately, we are here today to talk about potentially devastating and really highly unusual situation that we face with the draft budget CR that would immediately have the effect of cutting $1 billion out of our local budget. So let me tell you what's happening. In the most recent continuing resolution language, it ignores our already congressionally approved fiscal 2025 budget. Instead, it would peg us at FY24 levels, the levels that federal agencies are, because they do not have an approved FY25 budget. But we are not a federal agency. We are a city, county, state all at once, and we provide direct services to the people of the District of Columbia, visitors to the District of Columbia, businesses in the District of Columbia, diplomats and visiting heads of state, and everyone who works here in the Congress. Our budget was balanced and approved. And if we go back to fiscal 2024 levels, we would be forced to reduce spending by $1.1 billion in only 6 months. Was introduced by me and approved by this council. It focuses on 3 main areas: public safety, public education, and economic growth. Disrupting those investments won't be good for DC or our country.
Thank you, Mayor. So a little context. So about a week ago, our CFO forecasted lower revenue over the course of the next 4 years. He forecasted about $1 billion that we would lose as a result of federal job cuts. The CR would have us cut that amount that we're planning for over 4 years over the course of 6 months. And we'd effectively have to start with a week's notice. So when you have a budget that is 85% personnel, and almost all the personnel are focused on residents and delivering service, almost by definition, to make the math work on that kind of cut with almost no warning, you have to immediately go to where your spending is, which is on people that deliver service. They were thoughtfully done in ways that minimize the impact on DC residents and visitors. When you're making that volume of cut, you're doubling it, and you're giving yourselves not 6 months to plan for it, but about 5 or 6 days. You don't have that kind of planning or thoughtfulness. You try to immediately begin to pull spending down to be able to hit the year-end number. And that starts with people, because 85% of taxpayer dollars goes to people who directly serve DC residents.
Blessed is the name of the Most High. Rastafari. Love, rule, wickedness, kata. Another Babylon, love is respected, standing in public. And let's speak about love. And when we speak about love, has no border, has no religion, love has no politics, love has no color, love is love. When we speak of love, majority, much love.
You know what? France has been held by the balls. France has no room to breathe. I mean, like 6 countries have denied France. You know, Ivory Coast was the country with the highest population of French military bases in the whole of Africa. Military personnel in the whole of Africa. But now they've also decided that by the end of 2025, we want to see you pack and go. Here is your report.
Now we are starting with the latest from West Africa, where the new year has kicked in with a renewed anti-colonial sentiment. Another nation in the region has joined the France Out chorus, and that is Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara has announced that French forces will withdraw from the West African nation this month. He made the announcement in an end-of-year speech.
My dear compatriots, dear brothers and sisters, We can be proud of our army, whose modernization is now a reality. It is within this framework that we have decided on the coordinated and organized withdrawal of French forces from Ivory Coast. Thus, the camp of the 43rd Marine Infantry Battalion in Port Bouet will be handed over to the armed forces of Ivory Coast starting this January 2025.
Hours before Ivory Coast, Senegal also confirmed that French troops will leave the nation by the end of this year. The Senegalese President, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has said that this year would see an end to all foreign military presence in the country. Earlier, he also announced France would have to close its military bases on its territory. 2024 has been a tough year for France in West and Central Africa, and setbacks for Paris have clearly spilled into the new year. Over the last 2 years, France was forced out of several of its former colonies. It started with the coup belt of West Africa after the military government took charge in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. They kicked France out, and then Chad, which was considered France's most stable and loyal partner in Africa, abruptly ended its military cooperation with its former colonial power. Now France has handed over its first military base in the country. Now most recently, Senegal and Ivory Coast have joined the list. With some 600 troops, Ivory Coast is currently home to the biggest remaining contingent of French troops in West Africa.
Big up all the massive home and abroad, overseas diaspora, the sons of Africa. Here we are in a diaspora, battle for our life in a different field of a specialization. This is the Egon Tiger, your boy again. All the way those days in a Kingston, Jamaica, back to America, and then Europe, Switzerland, Germany, London, and places I travel. Ordinary musician, I am here to support the people. What is happening right there in Africa? The brother, the collaboration of Thomas and Kara, the one of the easy brother with a heart like a lion, the man called Captain Ibrahim Troare. I take over. I want to solidarity with our brothers. And right here I have in my studio a special guest from the Africa. Hey brother, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, thank you.
You are welcome to Egon Tiger Vision Studio here in Washington, D.C. Tell me a little bit about what African country the brother come from.
I'm from Cameroon.
Oh man, yeah, that is the longest president in Africa, Paul Biya, right?
Yeah, we have a president that has been there for more than 42 years, and unfortunately, he's still planning to go in for another 7 years.
Damn. Come on, brother, man. First of all, you can imagine how this life is. Somebody will stay in the government for 40-something years. He's not tired for this life, brother.
Yeah, he's not only government for 40. So he has been president for 42 years. He was prime minister minister before becoming president. So he has been in government for at least 50 years.
Damn.
Yeah, and he's still planning to stand as president again for another 7 years.
Oh, come on, for God's sake.
Yeah.
One person ruled for 40-something years. It's like we don't have no other people are qualified to be a leader in Africa. And that's the case. One man ruled for 40-something years. It's like they don't have other citizens who are capable to lead the country. One man ruled for all these years. He not tired because he is being backed up by imperial colonies. They gain all the access. All African leaders' treatment was done in Europe, America, not in Africa. So we don't have doctors in Africa. All the meeting in Africa, the African leaders having the meeting, they don't have the place to have their meeting in Africa unless Chatham Hotel in London or Berlin or other places, Geneva or the rest of them. Time will prove it. And time is now.
What is happening in Africa when you are an incumbent, it will be very difficult with the support of the Western world. It will be very difficult for the opposition to defeat him. Yeah, with all the rigging machineries that they are putting.
Oh my God. Let me say now, the way you stay there a long time, it is the people who are incompetent not to fight and get somebody out of the line.
We have nothing against the leaders, but the leaders who come to oppress the citizens and the economy, frustrated kind of inflation in the country, and that is why we are against you. So now, as you are here now, brother, I'm sure you see the greener pastures different from the way you saw when you were in Africa. Just like me, I travel around as an ordinary musician. Tell me, you spent how many years here now?
I've been close to 3 years here in the US.
Ain't nothing wrong for the sons and daughters of Africa to search for a greener pastures while our economy has been frustrated, stagnation with inflation, corruption, of which right now that you are here, you see the differences from America and your country, Cameroon. What are the things now that you will learn and advise the brothers and sisters back home to know that this have to be adjusted as advice?
If I start narrating it here, or maybe we'll spend the whole the difference is vast. The difference is vast. Yeah. For the first, I will give you a story. Right. When I came here and I was staying with my sister, because in Cameroon, you hardly have lights. I understand that it happens in Nigeria also. Yes. You hardly have lights in the whole day for 24 hours without the authorities that are controlling light taking. So when I came here, because in Cameroon, before you go to bed, you make sure that your phone is well charged, because you know that by the time you get up in the morning, you might not have light, or you will not have light most of the time. So when I came here, I told my sister that I want to put my phone on charge before I go to bed. She said, why? I said, because I need to use it in the morning. And then she was laughing. She started laughing. She told me, you think you're still in Cameroon, you don't take off lights here. So just to, I really need somebody to tell you that.
Oh my God,
that's the very first thing I noticed.
Oh my God.
I came here. And then since I came here, of course, you have constant water.
Oh yeah.
You have constant water. My kids used to leave the house, they would check for about 30-40 minutes to go and fetch water. Yeah. And then another thing is, we have toilets in the house. But I cannot remember the last time we flushed that toilet. You have to use a bucket to flush your things like that. Yeah. It's really terrible. That's why I'm saying the roads are bad. The hospitals, it's a very big difference.
And that is what makes our brothers and sisters trying to get to the greener pasture, of which there is nothing wrong. When we stay here for some time, we shouldn't forget what the past.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You should not forget where you come from. And because besides that, not everybody will have the opportunity to come here like we did. So we should not forget where we come from. Yeah, because those who are back there are still living the hell we used to live in. Yeah. So we should not forget where we come from.
Oh my God.
And from what I heard, for close to 3 years that I've been here, the situation is getting worse.
Oh my God. And they are still trying to support Paul Biya to stay another years and years.
And no, what I'll tell you, bro, the people staying in power is not that they are elected. For me, there's hardly anything called election in Africa or in Cameroon. I've been telling my friends that what happens in Cameroon, they call it selection, not election. It's not election. It's something that has been rigged even before the election started taking place.
And those who were doing those type of riggings, election, they were giving kind of a bribe to support the person who they like to select in their government. The same thing as you smell in Cameroon, it's the same thing is happening in Nigeria.
Yeah, I hear your leader in Nigeria, Tinubu. I heard him on, I don't know, his foreign TV. He was saying that it's his own term. I studied in Nigeria. I went to the university in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes.
What university you been in Nigeria, brother?
Kwara
State University.
University of Ilorin.
Wow.
I studied in Nigeria, so I know a lot about Nigeria. It's unfortunate The one I call some of the people are still not there.
Oh my God.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Of which today we are solidarity with the youngest president in Africa who is taking the proliferation of Thomas Sankara, who were assassinated by the imperial ambushed. Tell me your own opinion. What do you think he's doing right or wrong?
Anybody that says that what Ibrahim Traore is doing is wrong, it means the person does not know what he's saying. Collaboration with the enemy, and he does not know the story and the history of Africa. Yeah. Any person that says what Ibrahim Traore, my only wish for him is that he should not go the way of leaders who they were assassinated.
Believe me, and that is why the strategy since the beginning of independence of all African countries. Like me, I don't know much history, but I read a little bit history. The first country in Africa independent, which is Liberia, 1847, followed by Ghana, 1958, followed by Nigeria, and the rest of them. All those presidents, none of them ever attend. Only one person in Africa where I can say he did it great, but they assassinated him, which is Muammar Gaddafi. And now they try to paint brother Captain Ibrahim Traore that he just tried to do it for his own beneficiary, get all the gold for himself. This is the imperial ambush systematical way to see that the downfall of Africa will always be behind. And I'm so happy to see that China, Russia, these are the continent who are suffering like Africans. I live in Europe. I see how the Eastern Germany, which is part of Russia, they were trying to cross the border to come to West Berlin. And I remember Ronald Reagan said, Gorbachev, tear the world down.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Gorbachev is a devout communist believer, an idealistic reformer, who was among the most accidental revolutionaries in history. Leonid Brezhnev had been just a boy when Vladimir Lenin led the Bolshevik Revolution that initiated the Soviet period in 1917. Pravda, meaning truth, and Izvestia, translated as news. This gave rise to the Soviet joke that there was no truth in Pravda and no news in Izvestia. The Soviets intervened to prop up a leftist regime in Afghanistan, and this dragged on for a decade, at a cost of 15,000 Soviet lives and a tremendous amount of money. 5 decades after the Bolshevik Revolution, the revolutionary dream of transforming the nature of modernity itself was increasingly giving way to complacency among the older generation, of which Brezhnev and the Politburo were a part. After all, the ruling elite continued to enrich themselves at the expense of the nation. Images of Yeltsin standing on top of a tank and rallying support for popular visions of democracy were beamed throughout the country and around the world. Within 3 days, the putsch had failed. The counter-revolution was over. In the immediate aftermath, the Soviet Congress of People's Deputies was disbanded, as was the Communist Party, and individual Soviet republics declared their independence from the USSR, one after the other. So there was no longer any Soviet Union left for Gorbachev to lead. On December 25th, 1991, he resigned. The era of the USSR had come to an end. When the Soviet flag was lowered for the last time from the top of the Kremlin, and the tricolor flag of the Russian Federation was raised in its place. No jubilant crowd stood shouting hurrah, however. No statues were ripped from their bases. No figure was burned in effigy. The bombing of the Chechen capital of Grozny. After becoming president, he took an increasingly tough stance on the war in Chechnya. His demeanor as a tough, no-nonsense ruler. Putin also propelled a revival of the Russian Orthodox Church, including its precepts of faith, loyalty to the hierarchy, and national identity, and an appreciation for Russia's historical past extending beyond the Bolshevik Revolution. These cultural currents facilitated the rebuilding of great historical structures like the Cathedral of Christ the Savior in Moscow, and an appreciation for great literary figures, including Alexander Pushkin and Leo Tolstoy. But Putin also inspired the persecution of groups who didn't conform to state-prescribed ideals. This includes the harassment, sometimes deadly, of journalists who challenged his status quo. The political and cultural renaissance of Russia under Putin also led to renewed popular fondness for larger-than-life leaders like Ivan the Terrible, Peter the Great, and Stalin again.
And since the time Gorbachev teared that wall down, I see the progress taking place in Russia. And the economy is starting recovering. And now China, they are trooping in Africa, trying to see that they also build something in Africa for collaboration. Because Africa, China, Russia, these three continents is the poorest country since ever I started to know about history, in politics, geographically, traveling as a musician, boxer, a journalist. You can imagine China, Russia, they are on top of their games, of which the imperialists, which is United Kingdom, colonized America. A child was born today, and the child started to grow up. The child become his or her master. I'm saying the example of UK and America. Yeah. So the UK colonized America. America now take over
the world. Yeah.
So it's the same thing now. The whole Africa in diaspora, at home abroad, should understand that yes, we African, we are kind of slow in thinking, slow kind of learning. Because why are we slow? It's not because we have the real heart of love. The Africans will never react anyhow. We have the true love. Before we react, you push us to the wall and then we react. That is the spirit of Africa. So I'm so glad that you're here now. Marxism, whether it's a systematical way, you get a message crushed. Because we are in Cameroon, the story of America is just theory, but now that you get here, it's practical. What are the things that you see the difference of Cameroon and America that you can tell your brothers and sisters, do this, do that?
Like you said, education is the key. Education is the key. One of the things that they should stop there in Cameroon, especially, and Africa in general, is corruption. Corruption does a lot of harm to Africa. Yeah. And then another thing that I will tell my brothers and sisters back home is that nobody is going to give you a right. You have to fight for your right. And I think gradually people like Ibrahim Troare of Burkina Faso, the one of Mali, and Niger. Yeah, thank God that they've started, shall I say, open the eyes of other leaders. Because this, you remember, this is how we got our independence. Most of the countries, because most of the African countries got their independence in the 60s. What I'll tell my brothers and sisters is that we should fight for our rights.
So, you know, I can believe, and I still have the belief that African is the beginning and the end will still be Africa. Yes, we have doctors, nurses, pilot, engineering, all kind of skills in Africa. We have mineral, we have resources, but the refinery is being done in a foreign land like Europe and America. Nothing is done in Africa.
Yeah, remember civilization started in Africa. Yeah. Started in Egypt, civilization started in Africa. So many things started in Africa. But unfortunately, they've intimidated us, killed our leaders, the leaders who were fighting for us and things like that. Like you mentioned Gaddafi before now. Gaddafi wanted a united Africa, just like Europe is united, the US and America is united. But unfortunately, they killed him. Just like Thomas Sankara too was killed. Unfortunately, with the collaboration of some of our brothers, they took the money and then...
You can imagine. And that's why when I was serving in the US Armed Forces in Germany, I was doing a documentation saying, no enemy will come from far distance. The enemy is within us.
Most of the time.
And that is how our leaders in Africa crucify and kill their own brothers. First Black American President Barack Obama.
Call from any campaign. Official ask. Michelle Obama is asking you.
Thank you. Chicago, it's good to be home. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up. They have been through some stuff. Together, Kamala and Tim have kept faith with America's central story. A story that says we are all created equal. All of us endowed with certain inalienable rights, that everyone deserves a chance, that even when we don't agree with each other, we can find a way to live with each other. That's Kamala's vision.
He has a position to play in the White House. He was surrounded by lions, tigers, hyenas, gorillas, and he can never fulfill what he's aiming to. The only thing is to play the part they ask him to do. That is psychological mind thinking. Otherwise, he's gonna change the White House to be People's House. But he never did it. Because why? He is surrounded by all those names I mentioned, the lion, the tiger, the gorillas, the cheetahs.
Since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago, it has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. Fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver. And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward to meet the challenges of today. And Kamala understands this. She knows, for example, that if we want to make it easier for more young people to buy a home, we need to build more units and clear away some of the outdated laws and regulations that made it harder to build homes for working people in this country. That is a priority, and she's put out a bold new plan to do just that.
It's a system.
And you can imagine, and they invoke him to go and kill Gaddafi. Now, it's the same thing now happening to General Langley. He's telling our black brothers, we will be fighting for how many years since all the independence of Africa to this very present time, 2025. He is still in a position that we say no, but he can't do that. Why? Because he's still example of President Barack Obama. As I explained, he can't do it alone. He has to dance to the tune of the imperial because he was surrounded. He's just voicing, but deep in his heart, he is just trying to say what they told him to do. Sons and daughters of Africa, we are not fools. No any equation that you can bring on the table that sons and daughters of Africa will never know how to operate it. Put it plain again. There's not any systematic turning around, try to crucify someone behind and get him. In Africa, we say, before you see monkey, monkey has already seen you, but he don't want to speak. That is the attitude of Africa. Today, we are solidating with our brothers at home, abroad, diaspora. We must come together. We all gonna live, we all gonna pass.
That's the only way. It's either we live together or we all die together.
As a solidarity to give back to your people that you're standing for them. What's your name and what place in Cameroon you came from?
My name is Celestin Gwena. I'm a Cameroonian. I come from the northwest region of Cameroon. We have 10 regions in Cameroon, and I come from the northwest regions. But before I came into America, I was living in Limbe. I was born and bred in Limbe. But my origin, like they say, where my neighbor was buried is in the northwest.
God. All the athletes, all the sport men and women in Africa, they are here in America due to our resources mismanaged because of the leader who just try to have it on their benefits. All the black American footballers, American football, all of them in Europe and America, all from Africa. Why can't we team up and do something for our brothers and sisters suffering in Africa? All your equivalent is all we need. Whether you're a footballer, musician, boxer, wrestler, people like Francis Ngannou, people like Anthony Joshua, people like so many you mentioned. It's equivalent. Give us your equivalent. Me and you will solidarity with America. We must give back to the community that help us to let us stand in America. What are your feedback to America?
My message is solidarity. Solidarity. We should stop. We should stop fighting amongst ourselves in Africa. Yeah, we should stop fighting amongst ourselves. They should not come behind and
crucify one behind.
Yes.
Ambush behind.
Yes, and then make us to be fighting. If we're united, we're going to achieve so many things. That's my message.
So great in this, so great in this. It's a pleasure to have you in my studio, Egon Tiger. So what is now? You are a resident of Maryland and DC. What are your contributions?
They ask you if you're willing to donate to this charity or this. Once in a while, I do it my own little way.
Great. Of which it's good to give back to those who solidarity with you, those who care for you. We Africans, Caucasian, India, Russia, China, Latino, European, in America, we must show a solidarity to support the states, the various states in America that they support us as a visitor. Even though we become citizens, that you have to give back to the community, show them gratitude that you appreciate what they have done, but you shouldn't forget where you came from, and you always have something to give back to the community where you came from. Let the people know you are from Cameroon.
We have 2 official languages in Cameroon. I don't know if you are talking about the official language or
real languages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much Arwen. Yeah.
All right.
All
right. Now they knew exactly who you are. You know exactly you are the son of the soil from Cameroon, of which great thing, because we, wherever we go, they don't take Africa out of you. You are still in Africa, but prove your identity. Never denounce your identity, and that is the greatness of the real true love. And that is it. So you're welcome, brother man. It's nice to meet you, brother man.